Marvel fans, we have some crazy news today, from great updates about the Spider-Verse franchise and Spider-Man Brand New Day to the first reviews for a new Marvel TV show coming in and calling it a masterpiece. Of course, there's some bad news too, like Marvel canceling a fan favorite TV show. Let's talk about it all. Starting with some Spider-Verse updates, the first film, Into the Spider-Verse, will be re-released in theaters on February 6th. And the reason this is such a big deal, besides the fact that you'll just be able to watch this great film in theaters again, is that this is actually a good clue of when we're going to get the first trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Because everybody's been assuming that the Brand New Day trailer would release during the Super Bowl on February 9th. But this release date makes a little bit more sense of Sony putting it in front of their own re-release in theaters just 3 days earlier, and then maybe still airing it during the Super Bowl as well. This would easily push sales for the re-release of Into the Spider-Verse, get more Marvel fans in theaters, and Sony has no other movies coming out soon that they could put this trailer in front of, so I think this is very likely the day we get the trailer. Keeping on Spider-Man, the director of Spider-Man Brand New Day actually gave us a new statement about the movie, and he says that Spider-Man Brand New Day is still the Spider-Man that everybody loves, but this is a new chapter in his life, and that tonal shift was something that was really exciting to me. It felt really different, and it was an extremely gratifying experience. And this is exactly what we've been wanting to hear, that this movie was going to have a shift and become a little bit darker. Thus, Tom Holland's Spider-Man's obviously going to be the same character as he was in the previous trilogy, but we needed things to be switched up a little bit. And I fully believe Destin Daniel Cretton is going to give us one of the best live-action Spider-Man movies of all time. Now, one last Spider-Man related thing, they are releasing 4 brand new Steelbook Blu-rays for Across the Spider-Verse in the next couple weeks with 4 different designs. If you want to cop some of those, add them to your physical collection. Switching over to Marvel TV, we got a couple updates here. The first one is about Daredevil Born Again, because season 2 is releasing next month in March, but we already have updates that apparently season 3 is already going to start filming from March to July of this year. Now, Kevin Feige has come out and said that, yeah, Marvel television is going to start feeling like real TV again. We're going to have yearly seasons that are going to be kind of disconnected from the events of the movie, just like things were back in the Netflix days when they were running Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to start seeing with these new Marvel TV shows, and Daredevil Born Again seems to be the first one that's really going for multiple seasons, since they're already planning a season 3 and possibly 4. Now, unfortunately, we do have some bad news for Marvel television, especially if you're a fan of Hawkeye season 1 like I was, because the producer of Hawkeye has come out and said that timing didn't work out for season 2, seemingly confirming that the season has been canceled now and we're never going to get a second season to this show, which isn't necessarily surprising because it's been almost 5 years since season 1 of this show released, which I can't believe it's been that long. And we know that they had those contract disputes with Jeremy Renner. He was offended by the offer of money Marvel gave him, which honestly was fair. But in the last couple months, Jeremy Renner was kind of changing his tone, be like, yeah, I'm willing to work with Marvel if they're willing to work with me. But now we know that Haley Steinfeld, who plays Kate Bishop, is pregnant. So she's probably like, yeah, I'm not doing this Hawkeye TV show right now. So it seems like this thing is really just never going to happen, which is very disappointing to hear straight from the producer. Of course, we got to balance out any bad news today with some good news, because Marvel's new TV show Wonder Man that releases next week, if you don't know, it's about this Hollywood actor who gets real superpowers. It has a 92% score on Rotten Tomatoes, and the first reactions from critics and influencers who got to see it, which I am not one of, as you can see, are calling it an absolute masterpiece and exactly what Marvel television should have been. For some comparison, on Rotten Tomatoes, Loki has an 87%, and like I said, Rotten Tomatoes isn't the best thing to go off of because it's just a percentage of how many critics gave it a positive score. It doesn't measure how positive those scores are. Like a 6 or 10 out of 10 both count as positive on this website. Like I said, I've been checking out a bunch of individual reviews from people who have watched the entire series early and just the first 3 episodes early, and all of them are saying it is a really great television show. So I'm now excited to binge this thing next week. If you made it this far, let me know who your favorite MCU character is in the comments below. If you want to hear some crazy DC news about the upcoming Superman sequel and Batman straight from James Gunn himself, click the video above my head right now to check that out, and thank you so much for watching.